Hello and welcome to this episode of Political Adda. The Communist Party of India marks December 26, 1925 as the day of its inception. On this date, it is considered that various communist groups from across the country gathered in Kanpur, making what is regarded as the first sort of unified attempt within India to establish a nationwide communist organization. Well, a century of the communist movement in India sort of now invites reflection on the left's achievement and setbacks, its limited sort of cultural entrenchment, the constraints of the ideological orthodoxy, as well as the pressing need to rethink and renew the language of the left politics in the present moment. To discuss this and much more, we have with us Mujtaba Hussain, who's former professor of sociology at Patna University. Also, my colleague Sanya Dhingra, who has been tracking the party for quite some time. Thank you for joining in. I will begin with you, sir. My first question, what sort of explains the shrinking of the left, especially, being restricted to southern states and, to be very precise, Kerala? Why has this happened?
uh, the boom of the left movement was in the 1950s. And there are reasons, probably three reasons were there. Number one, all over the world, anti-imperialist struggles were going on. A kind of a wave of liberation movements was there. Secondly, India also was launching or just getting struggling for its independence. And there are different organizations which were working. For example, Progressive Writers Association, for example, IPTA, for example, AISF or All India Student Federation. The world situation was favorable, the Indian situation was favorable, and so it had a larger impact. In 1952 elections, it became the second party. Now, after that, almost 70 years have elapsed. Three things have happened. Number one, that the backward caste movement under the almost a cover of socialist ideology, Lohia ideology, Jayaprakash Narayan ideology. Jayaprakash Narayan, for that matter, was a member of the Communist Party of USA. He went to Russia to just for seeing the revolution also. Then when by almost he was forced by Braj Kishore Babu to change over from communism to socialism. And they were instrumental in establishing in 1934 the Congress Socialist Party. But I said three things. Number one was the backward caste movement. It has, because the communists would never accommodate with the question of caste. Basically, as Hiren Mukherjee and Gita Mukherjee, they said, no, caste is everything. And caste is a backward ideology. It's a kind of linked with feudalism. But in India, since there was no widespread industrialization, there was no modernization as such. So Dipankar Gupta said that Indian modernity is a mistaken modernity. And that's why we have reconciled to the position that there is a clash between or dialectics between tradition and modernity. But the first thing is that the backward caste movement. The second thing is the inability of the left movement, particularly that the socialists have always worked with caste. But the CPI and CPM, they did not reconcile because the leadership was from the Brahmins and the upper caste. It was not the lower caste, it was not the scheduled caste, it was not the lower backward caste. So the second thing is their inability to accommodate with caste. Jyoti Bose wrote in Ganashakti in 1979 that this is our most serious failure, that we have not been able to tackle the question of caste. The third thing is that at the world level, everywhere, the monopoly capital or finance capital has expanded like anything. There is enormous concentration of wealth. And it has also happened in India. So, Bernie Sanders said that in 2002 or 2000 AD, there was more or less a distribution of American assets in 200 families. In 2025, it has come down to only 8 families. So this kind of thing has happened also in India. Naturally, if this happened, if the regional bourgeoisie has totally surrendered to the monopoly capitalist or the monopoly bourgeoisie, almost that I don't think the whole corporate. So it is this corporate capitalism has not been matched by a kind of a new labor movement or new labor movement which could have been spearheaded by. So it started only in the 70s or early 70s when the Marshall Plan and other plans emboldened the capitalist structure, and Russia was not able to cope with this. But again, the situation is favorable. In 2020 or in the second decade of the 21st century, again the tide has changed. With the emergence of China, the whole Latin America or the whole South America has gone to the pink revolution. That's almost nearer to the left red revolution. In South Asia also. Now you see Laos, now you see Cambodia. Vietnam is also already there. So in these areas, that has happened, and a new kind of even China has the socialist, the Chinese variety of socialism is probably the only answer by which left can again regain its hold.
Sir, I would like you to expand on this question of the left in India not being able to reconcile with caste. And I know you said that that is primarily because the leadership of the CPI and the CPIM came from upper caste, came specifically from Brahmins. But why do you, if you can expand on the point, why the left could not make an alliance with either the Ambedkarite movement or the socialist parties in India? Do you think that the ideological rigidity of the left in India has been part of why it has fallen in the manner it has?
I don't think so. Actually, the reluctance has been from the Ambedkarites. B.R. Ambedkar was not a proletariat in the real sense of the term, because after he joined the power, he became quite rich. And that was good thing that he became rich, and that's why he could have Ayodhya Das in Tamil Nadu could not proceed because he didn't have the assets. Now the Ambedkar phenomena, that would have been a very good thing if Ambedkar would have joined the left movement. But from the very beginning, from 1922 itself, he was opposed to the communists. And even our Ramchandar Guha says that he was a liberal Democrat. He did not like the communists because he said that the communists are preaching austerity. The Dalits have been practicing and almost coerced to follow austerity for 2000 years. Probably, as we say, that caste system has, or the Varna divisions have, particularly caste has emerged from 6th century, 5th century, 6th century with the Gupta period. That is the period on from which caste has emerged. Varna was there, but not caste. So this caste system or the caste, Ambedkar focused his whole attention not on the democratic movement, less on the democratic movement, more on the Dalit question. He focused itself. So that is the reason why Ambedkar, very often people doubt that he was not a national leader rather, but he was a national leader. I do accept. But people object because of this, that his overall focus was on the Dalits. Dalits are the real mass from where the left could have gained strength. They should have been the harbinger of the revolution. But that has not happened because of the Indian situation. You must have noted that Phule Sahib, he wanted to invite and bring in by almost persuading the Dalits in his common feast, but he was not successful. Why not successful? Because of the rigidity of the caste. So, as far as the Ambedkarites and the communists are concerned, it was more a reluctance on the part of the Ambedkarites, less on the part of the leftists. Leftists have always tried to just incorporate. Rather, the other question that Gandhi was enormously popular, and Gandhi was made popular by Birla, by other top industrialists of India, because Gandhi was following a Hindu ideology, and they're also supporting Hindu ideology. Birla went to Ambedkar that why are you opposing Hinduism? You are a Hindu, so why you are opposing Hinduism? But Ambedkar said, I am not a Hindu, and I will definitely and one day renunciate this Hinduism. Now, what happened? That as far as the socialists are concerned, there's a world perspective. In Germany, if the social democrats and if the communists would have aligned, Germany would have been another case of a good revolution. But since there was this division, now what happens? That the democratic socialists and the communists, they have not joined together at any time of history. Sometimes they join, but longer period they do not join. Now, Lohia was more anti-communist than even some of the Congress people. So, it is true that in India after 1967, the communists and the socialists, they joined together in the United Front governments in Bihar, even in Kerala, even in Bengal. They joined. Even in Bengal, the socialists were there with the communists in this party. But it is a fact that in this dialectical situation, when a movement is there, those who are opposed to the movement, they try to do all kinds of things. This is a world phenomena, because those who are powerful, those who are privileged, they will not want any opposition to their root, or they will not want any opposition to their privilege. So they also tried to just the communists could not reconcile with the popularity of Gandhi. Probably they could have reconciled, or probably if Gandhi could have come nearer to these left elements. Gandhi was not left in his whole life. In Congress, there were two camps, and Gandhi was always with the rightist camp, Patel and Rajendra Prasad. But he favored Nehru because Gandhi was a very, very pragmatist person and a very, very practical person. That's why he could see that it is Nehru who could salvage the traditional sheep of India. So that's why he said that Nehru should become the prime minister. Now, Nehru also could not reconcile with Bose. If Bose and Nehru could have paired, and if they have come together for a long period, probably the destiny of India could have been different. So, and there were monumental mistakes on the part of Subhas or Netaji, and there are monumental mistakes on the part of the left. So left has been rigid. There is no doubt about it. Now another variety of left who are coming up, this CPI ML, the Pankar Bhattacharya variety, they have emerged victorious in many of the universities in India. JNU, they have come up in BHU, they have won some seats. In Kanpur, they have won some seats.
But having said that, by and large, the appeal of the idea of the revolution or class struggle, which existed in the 60s and up till the 70s, that doesn't seem to exist as much among the youth anymore. Even in today's Indian Express, D. Raja's new, that even Marx writing, there was no artificial intelligence. So in this day and age, do you think the appeal of the revolution is something that is too dated for young people?
Yes, I'll just pose a counter question. You have seen the JNU elections. Last time they gave a seat to vice president position to that ABVP. Now they have owned all the seats, all the 4 seats. Jaini people are also young people. Jaini
Hmm.
people are also young people. They are also.
But if you ask
It is-
ABVP, they say that all the left parties have to come together to fight ABVP alone. And across
That
other
is-
universities, you see that
that is the question. In Madhya Pradesh, the Congress and BJP both belong to the same class, and they came together very easily. Sarva Judum, that program, they brought into both the parties. Why should not the left? After all, the position of the presidents today is much worse than what it was 30 years ago. The rural poverty is so acute. Actually, the left is not finding the kind of right idiom to communicate with the masses.
Sir, does you
think this idiom
no, please continue.
how this idiom could be formed, because this is something that a lot of people from the left, even active politicians from the left, acknowledge very candidly that they're not able to find the correct idiom. So beyond this acknowledgement, what is the way forward?
Yeah. Actually, what has happened in the last 30 years, I don't want to go beyond just 30 years. In the last 30 years, technology had changed so fast that even in last 3000 years, this change was not there. So after the industrial revolution, in the 300 years, the change that surpassed the change of 3000 years. In the last 30 years, the change has surpassed 300 years or 3000 years. Now, this change, an Adivasi woman in East Singhbhum district is using the mobile and just doing missed calls. She is getting the right kind of answers from this cyber cafe. So naturally, why the leftists are still going for that nukkad drama, that kind of meetings? That they have to change. In 1 second, if million messages can be transferred to a whole people, see the social media. Where is the social media platform of the left? There is of the RSS, thousands. The socialists, all these satyahindi.com, Ravish Kumar, or this Punna Pushan Bajpayee, or this other people, all they are socialists. Where is any social media of the left people? The Dalit social media is there. This backward caste social media is there. That means the social media. But where is the left social media? They should have. This is one media. This is one system where they can communicate with the people. Actually, right now, the problems India is facing, acute unemployment is there. We have to find answers. Well, because Lenin said much earlier, even a large party, today the kind of resources BJP is commanding, today we are giving. I am now with this Adivasi platform, JMM people. Last year, when the elections were there, I was in charge of some 40 constituencies, 40 booths. So one person was managing the finances of this JMM. He said, "Sir, बहुत हो गया. 5,000 रुपया एक बूथ में दे रहे हैं. इतनी बड़ी बात है." And you see, BJP people were given 2 lakhs per booth. But then my perfect conviction is that no matter whatever resources they have, the situation in India today and the mizaj, I have given a concept in sociology, socio-cultural disposition. Why in England there was no revolution? Why in Russia there was a revolution? It was because of social culture, socio-cultural disposition. Why in China? Similar conditions, there was a revolution. Why in India there was no revolution? Because of the socio-cultural disposition. Bihar is backward because of its socio-cultural disposition. So the communists, instead of one Politburo, instead of one central committee, they have to have different central committees. One coordination committee should be there at the top, but they have to. You see the flexibility of the Congress Party. You see now the flexibility of the BJP. In the Northeast, I have heard with my own ears, they are saying, we'll provide you the best kind of beef. In Kerala, they are saying it. In Goa, they are saying it. We'll provide you the Go Mata meat. In Goa, they are saying, my friends, they said, yes, they said, my students, they said, sir, in Goa, they are just giving these speeches that will provide you all the kind of. So, where this flexibility among the leftists? They are debating and debating. Prakash Karat giving his ideology, giving his theories. I think the left has to talk less of theory, more of practice.
Yeah. Just to add to that, we were talking about the BJP and the Congress, so to speak, since 2014 at least, the BJP and the RSS have, reshaped in a way India's political and institutional landscape, obviously challenging the left's influence also. But, the left has always it used to pride itself over the grassroots connection that it had. I feel that is also something that has gone missing, at the level of grassroots, which you obviously touched upon. But what do you think needs to be done there? As you pointed out, it can't be just the Nukkad Nataks.
No. I already pointed out, number one, that they have to join the social media. They must have hundreds of social media platforms. Arey Baba, if RSS could have 1,000, that is the main media in you know that in West Bengal they have to sell their Ajkal. Ajkal was a TV channel which was controlled by the this CPM people, but they have sold it to this G News. Now you see that even these large media houses are in crisis because the Indian situation is in crisis. Delhi is not able to control or manage its pollution problem. The whole of India is not able to manage its unemployment problem. There is an acute unemployment. We have lefty speaking to these students or my students what are doing. Are engineers? 90% of the engineers are going for UPSC exams, going for state exams. Is it not a shame? The doctors, they should not be allowed to just sit for these UPSC exams or BPSC exams. And this is the kind of a failure of the Indian political system. So this political system, which is based on the capitalist or the corporate capitalist, which is a 100% crony capitalism, and this crony capitalism will fall apart like anything if the people. So you see that the left has to labor hard. In Bihar. Now, what kind of labor they put in? Yes, IPF people or this CPI-ML, they did it. To some extent, even this time, the CPI, CPM also worked hard, very hard on the ground. But what about this Arajad? Simply caste can't work. You see Mamata Banerjee, and I am sure, very much sure, that BJP will be defeated in Bengal no matter how much money, no matter how much communalism, no matter how much SAR, because then it is Bengal. It's not Bihar. Bihar has,
Why do you think that Mamta will be able to win? I mean, any particular reasons that you could cite?
yes, there are three regions. You see, on the one hand, she is opposing the spatial intensive revision in theoretical level. She is sending almost 126 letters she has sent to the Home Minister, to the Prime Minister, and to the Election Commission. The second thing, she is very much active on the ground. Every booth is being managed by a booth committee there. And the third thing, she is also politically active. Whatever it is, this scheduled caste in Bengal, scheduled caste, the left has not answered to this question that what has to be done with the left, this scheduled caste. Arey Baba, even if the scheduled caste is a millionaire in Uttar Pradesh, the Khatiks are crorepati's. But even then, they are not. Brass said that very gentleman from America, he said that this question has to be solved. And this now BJP, they said this party is not of Jati but Jamaat. A single the second they do not accommodate with caste, they will be just defeated. So Rajni Kothari said much earlier in 1988. Rajni Das said that any party which is not comfortable with caste or any party which cannot accommodate or reconcile itself with the caste question cannot be victorious in India. Naturally, sooner or later, the leftist would have to revise because the CPIML has revised it. You see the CPIML candidates, you see their tactics, you see the JNU tactics, what ISA is doing. You see in Kanpur what they are doing. But actually, there are two things where the left is very, very weak. Number one, they don't have the resources. Total lack of resources. Because earlier, the middle class trade unions, the insurance, the banks, all have, because there are three levels of struggle. On the one hand, this is
if I can quickly, sir, ask you that, the question of the lack of resources also comes from what I asked earlier, the lack of appeal, which is why you do not see privileged people with resources sort of throw their weight behind the left. So how does the left tackle this problem of the lack of resources? And secondly, you have talked about at length the left's inability to reconcile itself with caste, but we've also seen the left's inability to reconcile itself with the question of religion. In more recent times, we are constantly seeing left parties say that their sort of orthodox atheism has been a problem. So do you think there's a need to reimagine the left's relationship with religion as well?
No. As far as CPI is concerned, CPI allowed its members as early as 1969 to participate in the religious rituals. Muslims offer namaz, the Hindus going for pilgrimage, so they have already reconciled to this question. CPM was reluctant, but don't you see that the CPL people or the SFI or the DYF distributed their leaflets and pamphlets and newspaper Ganashakti and other papers in the puja pandals? What is this? They are distributing their leaflets in the puja pandals. Is it not a reconciliation with the religious question? The only trouble is that when they have to change their tack. They have to change their tack. And now, as far as I am concerned, I have simply revised my position that if there has to be democratic revolution in India, that has to come from these marginalized groups, even women. I don't say that the women of the upper class or women of the Rajputs or women. There was a woman in Uttar Pradesh, a Rajput woman, Thakur woman, who said, if I have to kill even 50 Dalits, I'll kill them, but I'll not allow any Dalit for Bharat party from my village. But even then, the new woman question, the new gender question is much liberal, much progressive. Olayan or this Greer or these people, they are in India, women are still, if at all the theory of Gramsci, this hegemony applies anywhere, it is with women. They are simply ready to face any kind of, but women have to part of this democratic revolution. When Johran Mamdani says that a new kind of alliance has to be made, the weaker sections, the Muslims, there are even billionaires among Muslims. There are Ajim Premji. There, these Dafarwalas are there. No need of them. But the majority of the Muslims are poor. The majority of the Dalits are poor. The majority of the lower backward caste are poor. The majority of the tribes are poor. These Adivasis are poor. I don't use the term tribe. I'm sorry for that because I have always said that this word should be discarded at the first time. This is a wrong word. But Adivasis, all poor people. No, how long they can just be fed with this Hindu-Muslim questions? The question, but the left has to work on three fronts. Economically, the corporate should not be reached or corporate should not be approached because they are always anti-left. But the regional bourgeoisie, but the smaller capitalists, the 10 crore people, the 20 crore people, the 50 crore people, they should be in the left party. If Chinese CPC could allow, Communist Party of China could allow Jack Ma to become the member of the Communist Party of China, why not India? In India, I am not saying that the corporates, Adani should not be approached, or Ambani should not be approached, or even this Mittal should not be approached. But at least the regional bourgeoisie, why not? The local states, they must come forward. But in Bengal, they lost the case by organizing struggles in the smaller factories. No, that should have been they the smaller factory owners. My students are labor commissioners. They say, "What kind of a leftism is this, sir?" No, that has to be taken because still in Bengal, the left vote share has not gone below 15 to 20%. It is still there. This is
Right.
there.
Right. Sir, before we end, one last thing that I would like to ask is, how has sort of left become a pejorative, and what is the way out? How do we sort of get out of this?
Yeah. I have already pointed out three things. Number one, basically or fundamentally, they have to change with the times because the situation is in their favor. There is acute poverty, there is acute unemployment, there is much of frustration among all sections and much of aspirations among all sections. That's the very, very important thing. Even the Dalits are now wanting to become IS officer. Dalits are wanting to become, and even in the remotest village of Jharkhand, where I work majority in the top time, the women are saying that no, we'll go to the police, we'll join the army. The Adivasi women, they are saying. So the aspirations have also gone up. And this is a basic question that the bourgeois setup, this capitalist system, cannot provide jobs to them. Now, this 7 kilograms of rice or this food, this is not going to solve the problem. Not last time Modi ji was on the verge of defeat. This time in Bihar, this is all fraud. They have won the elections by fraud. But see, if these things, India is a very large country. And if these things continue even in Bengal, even in, other things, Bengal is a different game. There they can pass a resolution in Bengal Assembly that will be a separate country. This is not Bihar. But that Sherni, that Tigris, can be of any time, and then this is much cunning than this Hamid Shah and this Modi ji. Rahul Gandhi is a fool. Yeah, I'm sorry to use this word, but how in India there are elections, in Bihar, and he is going to South America, he is going to Germany. Are Baba, he would have been into the Delhi, in Karol Bagh, Fatehpuri.
Right. But it's just an irony how the biggest criticism against Rahul Gandhi today is also that he's quote unquote leftist. But thank you so much, sir, for this very enriching conversation.
Congress remains a Brahminical party. I am 100% in agreement with Lohia ji. I am 100% in agreement with Kansiram, with whom I had long sessions in Palamu, long sessions in Ranchi, and I have all respect for Kansiram ji. But he was also anti-communist, and he did not at any time say that these people are, they all say, like Lohiya like Ambedkar, the sons of these Brahmins. From the leftists, the Ambedkars have always said that these are the sons of the Brahmins. The
Right.
Congress paradigm change has started in the Congress, and if Rahul Gandhi remains on the track, and he is not, Priyanka ji, I should not say use those words, but she bungled in Punjab, and she is trying to just start the whole thing with this crony capitalism son, this our Prashant Kishore.
Right.
That this
Right.
Indian capitalism has produced chaps like our Khans in Bihar. What is his? Even
I guess
Prashant.
we can have an entire discussion on Bihar, sir. But thank you so much. We have restricted sort of time, but thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you, Sandhya.